Hello everybody. Have you ever heard of a restaurant where people are not allowed to take food home? Where customers who try to wrap their leftover food are thrown out immediately? Yes, such a place exists. Welcome to Mama Joy's Kitchen, where a simple rule about eating food only inside the restaurant holds a terrifying secret that changed many lives forever. In the busy streets of Lagos stood Mama Joy's Kitchen. This wasn't just any restaurant. It wasn't a fancy place, but it was always full of people. The sweet smell of jollof rice, the hot steam from fresh fish pepper soup, and the strong aroma of pounded yam made everyone hungry as they walked past. The food wasn't just tasty, it was special in ways nobody could explain. Mama Joy herself was a short fat woman who always had a bright smile on her face. She wore colorful clothes and had a loud friendly laugh that made everyone feel welcome. Her food seemed to have powers that nobody could explain. When sad people ate her food, they became happy. When sick people tasted her pepper soup, they got better. When students ate her jollof rice before exams, they passed with flying colors. Even people with money problems found good fortune after eating her special fufu and egusi soup. Regular customers had their own stories about the restaurant's magic. There was Mr. Sunday, who had been about to lose his business until he ate Mama Joy's special okra soup. The next day, he mysteriously received a phone call that saved his company. Mrs. Blessing had been unable to have children for 10 years, but after eating Mama Joy's special jollof rice every Friday for a month, she became pregnant with twins. But Mama Joy had one strict rule that she never broke: you must eat all your food here. No taking food home. No packing. No takeaway. No wrapping. She would say this every day to every customer. Her voice would change from sweet to serious whenever she said these words. Anyone who tried to break this rule would never be allowed to eat in her restaurant again. There was even a bold notice on the wall that reiterated this. Many people found this rule strange. Some would ask, why can't we take the food home to our families? Others would say, what if we can't finish the food? But Mama Joy never changed her mind. The food was so good that people followed her rule without asking too many questions. Before I continue, this is a plea to you, my awesome viewers who haven't subscribed to my channel, to please be a part of my growth. I'm begging you to click on that subscribe button, and if you're a returning subscriber, hey, welcome back. But have you ever been to a restaurant that does not allow takeaway? No matter how sweet the food is, you are not allowed to take food out. Okay, let's get back to the story. One day, a young bank worker named BC visited the restaurant. Her mother had been in the hospital for weeks, refusing to eat any food. The doctors were worried. BC had heard stories about how Mama Joy's food could heal sick people, and she was desperate to help her mother. When BC entered the restaurant, she heard the familiar warning about not taking food away. She sat down and ordered the special fish pepper soup that everyone said could heal any sickness. While eating, she watched Mama Joy cooking in the kitchen area. There was something strange about the way Mama Joy moved in the kitchen. Her hands seemed to float over the pots, and her lips were always moving, whispering words nobody could hear. BC had brought a small container in her bag. When nobody was looking, she quickly put some pepper soup inside it. Her hands were shaking as she paid for her food, but Mama Joy just smiled and said goodbye like always. That evening, as BC walked through the quiet hospital corridors to her mother's room with the smuggled soup, strange things began to happen. Her bag felt very hot. When she opened it, she saw a blue light coming from the container with the soup. The soup was bubbling even though it had gone cold hours ago. In her mother's hospital room, BC opened the container. The blue light grew stronger, and a strange mist rose from the soup. Suddenly, the room became very cold. The machines keeping track of her mother's health started making loud noises. The lights began to flicker. Then a deep, angry voice filled the room, who has taken the blessed food from its holy place. The mist from the soup began to take shape. It looked like a tall, dark figure with eyes that burned like red coal. Other sick people in the hospital started screaming as ice formed on the windows, even though it was a hot Lagos night. Suddenly from nowhere, Mama Joy ran into the room. She wasn't smiling anymore. "Customer, what have you done?" Her face showed fear and worry. She pulled out a small old calabash from her cloth and started saying words in a language nobody knew. It was then that everyone learned the truth about Mama Joy's kitchen. The restaurant wasn't just a place to eat, it was a special place blessed by ancient cooking spirits. These spirits had been in Mama Joy's family for many generations, helping people through the power of food. But their powers only worked inside the restaurant, where special charms kept evil spirits away. "The spirits help us heal people," Mama Joy said as she tried to stop what was happening, "but they have strict rules. If their blessed food leaves the restaurant, the power becomes evil." The misty figure grew bigger, and its voice made the walls shake. "The sacred agreement is broken. The protection is gone." Mama Joy walked quickly, throwing different herbs into her calabash and saying more strange words, but it was too late. The evil spirits that the restaurant's special charms had kept away for years were now getting in. The hospital room became a battlefield of good and evil spirits. The good spirits that had blessed Mama Joy's cooking fought against the evil ones trying to destroy their power. All the machines in the room stopped working. The lights kept going on and off. The air felt heavy and hard to breathe. Then something unexpected happened. Bessie's mother, who had been too weak to even sit up for days, suddenly opened her eyes and sat up in her bed. The fighting spirits had given her strange power. She looked at Bessie and said clearly, "My daughter, some things must stay where they belong." Mama Joy saw her chance. She rushed to Bessie's mother's side, poured something from her calabash into the woman's hand, and together they began to chant. It turned out Bessie's mother had once been a traditional healer before falling ill. The combined power of their chanting finally contained the spiritual chaos, but at a great cost. When the mist cleared and the temperature returned to normal, Mama Joy's hair had turned completely white, and her mother had fallen into a deep sleep. The dark forces had been pushed back, but the damage was done. The sacred pact that had blessed Mama Joy's kitchen for generations was broken. From that day forward, her food, while still delicious, lost its magical healing properties. Mama Joy's kitchen is still open, but it's different now. The food is still tasty, but the magic is gone. Mama Joy's hair turned white that night, and she looks much older now. She still doesn't allow takeaway, not because of the spirits anymore, but to remember what happened. Bessie's mother eventually got better, but it took many months of proper medical treatment. Bessie visits the restaurant every Sunday with her mother, and they always finish their food there. Sometimes, when the sun shines through the windows in a certain way, they think they can see a faint blue light around the cooking pots, like the spirits are still watching, waiting to see if humans have learned their lesson. The story of Mama Joy's kitchen is now a famous one in Lagos. Parents tell their children this story to teach them that some rules, no matter how strange they seem, exist for good reasons. They say that sometimes, trying to help someone you love can cause more problems than you expect. And if you ever visit a restaurant with strange rules, remember what happened at Mama Joy's kitchen. Some rules are meant to protect us from things we don't understand, and some boundaries should never be crossed, no matter how good our intentions are. As the old people in Lagos now say, not everything that helps inside will help outside. Some blessings are meant to stay where they are given. Hello loves, before we call it a day, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There are more interesting stories waiting to be published.